Hey everyone, Alexandra Figueredo here, branding and visibility coach. And today we're going to talk about messaging that attracts your audience, your desired audience. So let me get my little PowerPoint here. There we are. All right. So this is important. Why? Because we want to make sure if we're going to be doing marketing, promotion, communication, social media, whatever it is, publicity, we want to make sure that our messaging is on point so that we can focus on making the message connect with our audience, right? And so we want it to land, right? We want our communication to land. We want the biggest bang for our buck, our biggest bang for our time, our biggest bang for our energy. And so it's important to get this messaging piece right. So I created an acronym. Some of you may know this, but today I'm going to talk specifically about ways to strategize how you're delivering your message. So I actually created this acronym. It's called STARTS, and I use it mostly for naming. So like if you're going to create a challenge, or if you're going to create an event, or if you're going to create a book, or you're going to create a product, this is really great for naming, but it's actually the acronym is applied to anything that you create, any messaging that you create. All right, so from the top, the S stands for specificity. So the best way to connect with your audience is that you're specific and they know exactly what challenges, what problems, what issue you want to address, right? So that's what I mean by specificity, is that you get really specific about an issue that you want to focus on and stress or direct or solve. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about, specificity, all right? T stands for tangible. And, I do come from the holistic world where a lot of times we talk about spiritual and wellness, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, if it's too intangible, sometimes it's hard for us to wrap our head around. And I've actually had many clients who are holistic, spiritual entrepreneurs, holistic entrepreneurs, and they're like, why are we not getting any clients? Or why is nobody signing up to my event? And because the event or whatever it is focused so much on an intangible that it's really hard to wrap your head around. So they'll say, instead of saying like get a relationship or start a new relationship, they'll say find love. And it might sound nice to find love. However, what type of love? Is it romantic love? Is it, parental? I mean, what is it? And so what you want to be tangible whenever possible, so that it's easier for people, for your customers, to wrap their head around acquiring something that's tangible versus acquiring something that's intangible. Okay, so that's number 2. The third, the A, stands for audience-based. And this is across the board. We always want to make sure that our messaging is based on who our desired audience is. And if you don't know who that is, I'm going to pin a link in the comments in the description for a video that helps you to know who your audience is. So if you're not really quite clear about that, there's definitely ways to get clear about who your audience is. Because frankly, if you don't know who your audience is, then the message is going to be way off. So knowing who your audience is so important. And back to the first 2, making sure that your messaging is specific and tangible based on who your audience is going to sharpen that message, is going to really make it clear and clear and clear. All right. So the R stands for relevant. We want it to be relevant. And so and this is kind of like maybe something that should be a no-brainer. However, a lot of times we create content or we create products and services we think our audience wants, but we haven't really verified it with them. That's another reason I know a lot of my clients maybe don't end up making sales or end up attracting their clients, because they're putting out messaging, they're creating things based on what they think. And sometimes that's okay, right? That's not always, I believe it was like the iPod, right? Like the Apple iPod was created and nobody thought that they needed an iPod. So in some cases, the demand was created or the product was created before, the market demand for it. However, really we want to make sure that our content, our products or services are relevant to our audience. And you can do that by testing. You can do that by putting out quizzes or polls or asking your audience. Or how about if you're talking to prospects or you're talking to your clients, finding out what are the recurring issues that come up, like the frequently asked questions, and you can create messaging, content, products and services relevant to what your audience cares about right now. Back to the A, audience based, right? So always want to drive it back to what your audience wants and needs. And sometimes you don't know that necessarily unless you're talking to them, polling them, and getting content and feedback directly from them. All right, so the T stands for time-based. This is not always necessary, but it can be really helpful when you're writing a book or a blog post or a podcast or an event or a challenge to say how long you're going to help them with some type of results or whatever it is that you're specific about. Back to A, specific and tangible about. So as an example, with challenges, it's really great to say 5 days to, and then have a specific and tangible result that they're going to get. Okay. Not always necessary, because I know can't always call everything, like the 30-day detox. Although that sounds good, right? Like a 30-day detox is detox 2, or 30-day gut detox, or 30-day, I don't know, whatever it is. You get the idea. Okay. And then the last S stands for simple. And I added this. Originally my acronym was START, but I started to realize that so many of my clients and people that I see are not simple in their messaging. It's like you have to write a dissertation to explain what it is that you do, or a dissertation to explain what your product or service is. You need to be able to simply and clearly communicate what it is that you do or what your product or service does in like 1 to 3 sentences. And that is hopefully with this acronym and rounding it out with simplicity is what I like to communicate with you, that we want it to be specific, tangible, audience-based, relevant, and time-based, and done as simply as possible. Okay. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments, which of these do you find to be maybe most challenging for you, or what do you think of maybe one of your biggest takeaways from this acronym or from what we've talked about today? How can this apply to you and your business? And so with that, I just wanted to share that I am hosting a challenge, a 5-day challenge, and it's the Elevate Your Brand Visibility Challenge, 5 days to stand out and attract your desired audience. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of these things. We're going to get down to who your audience is, getting really clear about who your audience is, so that we can create the right message that's going to reach them, so that you're going to be able to attract more of these desired clients, leads, prospects, and really be able to shine and really get out there and put your message out there, so that you can make a bigger difference and make a bigger impact in your industry and getting more clients. So I'm going to drop the link as well in the description. It's alexandrafigueredo.com, my name. And with that, I would love to hear from you. What was your biggest takeaway? What was your, what action step are you going to take based on this? And I'd love to see you on the challenge. And with that, I appreciate if you drop a comment, help me in the algorithm, and subscribe to my channel so that I can get more of this really great content. It's going to help you to grow your business. All right, signing off. I'll take